My 9-year-old refused to open her Christmas presents in Rome. She sat cross-legged on the carpet in her pajamas and stared at the gifts like they belonged to somebody else. My husband had lined them up under a tiny fake tree. "Go on," he said, too bright. "Open them." She didn't even reach out. She shook her head once and whispered, "I don't want presents if she's not here." His smile froze because he knew exactly who she meant. A few hours later, we were at the airport changing our flights to go home early. I still have the hotel key card, bent at one corner. When my thumb catches that crease, I'm right back in that room, listening to a kid try to be fair in a situation the adults had already made unfair. And the thing is, it didn't start in Italy. It started in my kitchen with one missing plane ticket. He'd been talking about Italy for weeks. Christmas in Rome, like it was a reward he'd earned. The tickets were already bought when I asked, as casually as I could, "So, did you look at flights for Emma too?" He was at the fridge. "I'm not paying for her," he said. I made this small, stupid laugh because my brain didn't know what else to do. "What do you mean you're not paying for her?" He shut the fridge and leaned back against it, arms crossed, calm. "She's not my responsibility," he said. "She already has a dad." I didn't work then. He paid for everything. And Emma's dad, he couldn't afford Italy. "You can pay for her if you want," my husband added. "I'm not stopping you." From the living room, Lily was singing to herself, unaware. And all I could think was, how do you explain a line like this to a 9-year-old? And she was going to ask me first. We didn't have a big blow-up, no shouting. We just made arrangements. My mom said Emma could stay with her. She tried to make it sound cozy. Emma didn't buy it. The night before we left, Emma's suitcase was open on her bed, clothes half folded like she kept stopping and starting. She kept picking at the zipper pull and blinking too fast. I sat beside her and said, "I'm sorry," because I couldn't find anything better. Emma looked up and said, "So you're just going without me?" The way she said "just" made my throat tighten. And that's when it hit me. She wasn't going to remember Rome. She was going to remember my face when I let her stay behind. The next morning, my mom showed up in her coat, cheeks red from the cold, overly cheerful in that way adults get when they're trying to hold a room together. Emma hugged her, then hugged me. Then she looked at Lily, backpack on, bouncing by the door, excited like the airport was Disneyland. Emma's mouth wobbled. She tried to smile. She didn't make it. She turned into my mom's coat and cried. Quiet. The kind that makes everyone stand still. You know the kind, when even the air feels like it's holding its breath. Lily stared at us like she'd missed a sentence. That's when my husband stepped in. He crouched in front of Lily and said, warm as a children's show, "Hey, your sister's spending the holidays with her dad." I snapped my head toward him. He kept going. He invited her on a nice vacation too. We gave her the option, but she chose the other trip. Lily nodded slowly. "Oh, okay." And Emma heard every word. She wiped her cheeks with the back of her hand like she was erasing evidence. I told myself, maybe we can survive this if I keep quiet. That lie lasted until we got to Italy. At the airport, Lily pressed her face to the glass and pointed at planes. My husband bought her hot chocolate. "Christmas rules," he said. I kept checking my phone. Emma sent one picture from my mom's living room, Christmas lights in the corner, her socked feet on the couch. No caption. You ever get a picture like that and it still feels like a message? I stared at it until my eyes burned and flipped my phone face down on my lap. On the flight, Lily fell asleep on my shoulder. My husband watched a movie. I stared at the dark seat-back screen and kept thinking, there are 3 of us here. There should be 4. And I didn't know how to fix it without finally choosing a side. Italy was beautiful in a way that almost made me angry. Damp stone, coffee, holiday lights strung across narrow streets. Lily pointed at everything. "Can you believe this?" My husband kept lifting his phone. "Smile." Lily did, immediately. That first night in the hotel, Lily touched everything. The curtains, the bedspread, the tiny soaps that smelled like lemon. Then she opened the closet and asked, innocent as anything, "Where would Emma have put her stuff?" My husband answered from the bathroom without pausing. "She's with her dad, remember?" Lily shrugged and went back to bouncing on the bed. My face went hot, and I had to swallow twice, like my body was trying to keep me from saying anything stupid. Because he didn't even have to think before he lied. And if I let that become normal, I didn't want to see what it would do to them. Later, when my husband went downstairs, Wi-Fi, breakfast, something, Lily sat barefoot on the edge of the bed, peeling the wrapper off a little chocolate left on our pillows. She looked up at me and said, "Do you think Emma's having fun too?" My mouth went dry. I sat beside her and reached for her hand. Her hair smelled like hotel shampoo. I lowered my voice. "Your sister isn't on a trip," I said. Lily blinked. "What do you mean?" "She's at Grandma's," I whispered. "She didn't come because we couldn't." Her fingers tightened around the wrapper until it crinkled loud. "Why couldn't she?" "Because your dad said she isn't his. Because I let him." So I said, "Because it cost a lot, and he didn't want to pay for it." Lily went quiet. Not dramatic, just like the air got heavy. Her eyes filled, and she shook her head like she was trying to undo what she'd heard. Then she slid off my lap and crawled onto the bed, turning her back to the door. I didn't know if I'd just ruined her trip or saved something else. That's when I heard the lock click. My husband walked in and stopped when he saw her. "What happened?" he snapped, already angry, like the only possible answer was me. "I told her the truth," I said. His face changed in stages, pale, then red, then panic. Not because Lily was crying, because the lie didn't belong to him anymore. "You couldn't just let her enjoy this?" he hissed, keeping his voice low. He looked at me like I'd sabotaged him. "You turned her against me." He went into the bathroom and shut the door hard enough that the mirror rattled. And I stood there thinking, okay, so this is what he's afraid of. Not what he did, what she thinks about it. After that, Lily didn't hold his hand anymore. When he leaned in for photos, she shifted away just enough to make it clear. At dinner one night, he pushed a plate toward her like it was a solution. "Eat." "I'm not hungry," she murmured. His fingers tapped the table, impatient, counting time. Back in the hotel, he said, low and furious, "You didn't have to do that." "I didn't do anything," I said. "I just stopped lying." "She's 9, he shot back. "She needed Christmas." I thought about Emma at my mom's house. "She needed her sister," I said. He scoffed. "She's not my kid." And I stared at him, hearing that sentence land in the same room as the child we made together. In my head, a question formed that I didn't ask out loud. If she isn't your kid, what does that make me for staying? The next morning was Christmas. The tiny hotel tree, the neat little pile of gifts, the fake cheer. Lily sat on the floor and didn't move. "Go on," my husband said, too bright again. "Open them." She folded her hands in her lap. "I don't want presents," she said. He blinked. "What?" "I don't want them if Emma's not here," Lily said, staring at the tree. "It's not fair." He looked at me like I'd coached her. My throat filled up like wool. Lily walked to the window and pressed her forehead to the glass. My husband ran a hand over his face. "This is ridiculous," he muttered. Later that afternoon, he said we were going home. Not softly, not apologizing. Like a man closing a file he didn't want open. We packed in silence. At the airport, Lily finally asked, "Can I call Emma?" I nodded immediately, too quickly. She held the phone with both hands, screen glow lighting up her face, and stepped away near a pillar like she needed privacy for the kind of love she was trying to give. I didn't hear what Emma said, but I watched Lily's shoulders drop, just a little, like someone had loosened a belt around her ribs. And I realized I'd been holding my own breath, too. On the flight home, my husband didn't speak to me. Lily slept, but she leaned into me like she was afraid I might drift away too. When we got home, my mom was waiting in the driveway. Emma came out fast, too fast, like she'd been listening for the car. She didn't run. She's 12, she wouldn't give us that. But she walked toward us with this tight, guarded hope on her face. Lily jumped out first and wrapped her arms around Emma like she could close a distance with force. Emma hugged back and looked over Lily's shoulder at me. Her eyes were puffy. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. That night, after the girls were asleep, my husband stood in the kitchen with his hands on the counter, staring at nothing. "You're a terrible mother," he said, flat. "You ruined her holiday just to punish me." The refrigerator hummed. "I wasn't punishing you," I said. "I just couldn't keep lying." He shook his head. "You could have waited." Waited. As if Emma was something you could put on hold until it was convenient. He walked out and left me standing there, still in my coat. Later, putting away laundry, I found the Italy keycard in my jacket pocket. Plastic, warm from my hand, worthless. A little piece of proof that we'd been there, that we'd left someone behind. I slid it into my wallet because I didn't know what else to do with it. Sometimes I take it out and run my thumb over the bent corner. And I think about Lily in that hotel room, refusing gifts, not to be difficult, just to be fair. Like she was drawing a line in crayon, simple and stubborn. And I keep wondering what kind of line I'm going to have to draw next.